I would like to introduce the first presentation. The speaker, the title is Digital PBL for Nursing, the Future is Now. And the presentation will be made by Associate Professor Vico Chiang from Hong Kong Polytechnic University in Hong Kong. Please, Professor Vico Chiang, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Greeting from Hong Kong. It is very nice that I'm able to present for the 14th International PBL Symposium organized by the Hala Newcastle PBL Education and Research Center again. Although I'm not seeing all of you in person this time, I'm able to use the technology to present today's topic with you, which is digital PBL for nursing. Is the future is actually now. So without ado, the topic I'm going to present actually is related to technology and PBL. I remember 2 years ago in the same symposium, I have discussed about technology and PBL, and I have raised some benefit of online PBL, which basically including factors like online PBL may be cheaper to run comparing with the need for use of physical venues, and also online PBL may be more efficient because of the time that it could be more flexible for the student or the learner to use if it is asynchronized. On the other hand, benefit of online PBL could be including a lot of AV materials that probably could form or constitutes better triggers of the problem for PBL or effective PBL. And also internationalization of PBL group is another advantage. The PBL sessions can also be recorded for future review as well as another PBL through online advantage that we can imagine. By the way, online PBL here I'm talking about sometimes is considered as digital PBL. Challenges of online PBL are also there, or digital PBL, including difficulty about the natural flow of conversations or missing nonverbal communication. But these days, in particular these 2 years or previous years when COVID-19 struck us and is still going on, the proliferation of the use of video telephony, could be solving this sort of difficulties about natural flow of conversations and nonverbal communication if the communication is done in a synchronized way or live instant online PBL. Otherwise, the challenges could be like network problem. Sometimes if we want to do a live online synchronized PBL sessions through online measures or platform from different places, the network could be in different strength or power that could interfere a very smooth running of the PBL sessions. Online PBL could be something that tends to be attracting many information to be attached onto the platform that could be overwhelming of information to the learner as well. Otherwise, the same old issues about whether personal preference for learning should be considered. Of course, we consider PBL is a good thing for learners. And online digital PBL could be beneficial as well. But at the same time, when we consider personally significant learning environment, which is supposed to be the personal preference or everybody have a different way of learning, then that could be something that we may ask ourselves, whether PBL or whatever form of PBL, online PBL, for example, would be something that we need to reflect more about whether it fit personally significant learning environment for individual learning style. The success of PBL, as we know, depends on very careful and good design of the problem as a trigger, and how, in particular, if it is about using technology, although not necessarily about digital technology, how the technology to deliver PBL is used, and also the student behavior about using the technology, and how much cognitive activities and group processes can be enhanced with whatever technology we use. Okay. In any case, the technology used does not or do not come first, because we could use a variety of technologies, but PBLs always come first. Therefore, in order to proceed from the things I've previously talked about online PBL, it's 2 years already, and now we have got COVID-19 for about 1 year, and online platforms have been widely used, in particular telephony, the video type of telephony that we're talking about. So what I'm trying to present to you today is a particular narrative review, a type of literature review that could be more conveniently done to look at the evidence on digital PBL, right, in healthcare educations. And from there, maybe we get some implication about the future of PBL. So I have used rather rapid searches with several databases to do this narrative review. So the searches are done with PubMed, with Cochrane Library, Google Scholar, and also Google. Okay, so there could be duplication from the searches from all the 4 databases, as we do whatever exercise with systematic review. Okay, this is normal because different database could find the same study that we want to target. So I would remove the duplicate from the searches from all the 4 databases, and the keywords are used including electronic problem-based digital problem-based, and the scope or the filter for the search within 10 years. So from all these results, you can see there are quite a number of searches I could identify, say from PubMed or Cochrane Library, which targeting systematic review. And the red fonts study are those that I include then from the initial search, that from the title it seems to be appropriate, okay, for further inclusion of the review. For Google Scholar and also Google, you can imagine the searches I can identify with the keywords as systematic review, PBL, nursing, future of problem-based learning, etc. Okay, I generate even more findings from the searches, and again, those red font ones are those after I initial screen of them, but the title seems to be appropriate for further review. And the next one is from the Google search, right? Again, the red one from many of them. As you can see, millions of searches. Usually, I browse through the first 10 pages or few pages of the searches, and because they are the most latest usually that I can find, and in this case within 10 years. So the red ones are those included. And from there, the Google Scholar and also the PubMed and Cochrane Library searches, I include 21, okay, after duplication removed, right, for further consideration. 8 of them are systematic review, 12 of them primary studies, 1 discussion paper. So I exclude that discussion paper as well, because for evidence building, systematic reviews and primary study are more useful. So 20 altogether included for the eligibility check further. And the inclusion criteria that I have got so far is, as I've mentioned, I include those within the 10 years, study which are systematic review, quantitative study, and qualitative study are also included. For further eligibility criteria check, I look at the abstract and the title, I mean. And if they are about online or digital PBL. It involves PBL in terms of nursing discipline, medical discipline, or healthcare discipline. I will further include them for the narrative review. So this table showing us for further inclusion or being considered eligible for the narrative synthesis to proceed on with the review. Only one of the systematic review among the 8 that consider appropriate, because this is the only one that is covering digital PBL. That is the one by CAR that include 9 RCT. That's the first one appearing in this table. And then from the other 12 primary study that I consider eligibility for further narrative synthesis of the review, it includes those cover health professional and nursing medical discipline. So I exclude those with target on education in general. Okay, so number 2 there are excluded. And then the other one I include also covering medical discipline. Number 9 I include because it's about industrial education. And then the last 3 from the 12 here I also exclude because all of them are included they're targeted about education discipline. So finally I have got 8 study altogether. One of them is the systematic review by CAR, the focusing discipline of the medical professions, and also the other 7 included then covering the discipline about health professional, nursing, and medical professions again. Right, and those study are including qualitative study as well, like number 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and number 5, the one with mixed method. Okay, and number 6, 1 RCT, and the other 2 observational study. Okay, now I should do the next quality. I beg your pardon. Quality appraisal of those 8 study included for further qualitative synthesis. But because I want to have an overview of what we got, so at this stage, I don't particularly exclude those qualitative study. Okay, although as you know, when we look at the quality appraisal, more or less we look at the methodology, and there could be a decision to exclude qualitative study because of the level of evidence. But in that case, I don't. And I don't actually particularly use a tool to evaluate the quality as well, because as I've said, my purpose is to narratively synthesize information and from an overview of what we have got in those 10 years before about digital PBL. So finally, I've got into the result to share with you. The result I've got is differentiated into several parts. First of all, I've seen some study in general, although I exclude them because this is not about digital PBL, but I can still see some implication from there, which is the PBL in nursing. Overall, it still demonstrates in the last 10 years, the study that I've got, although I exclude them for further review. PBL is still able to achieve outcome as better critical thinking, professional communication, and skill that foster clinical reasoning. It is overall an effective student-centered pedagogies for learning and teaching. Although it might not be demonstrated or proven to be better than other ways, but at least this is doing similar. Okay. Right. Otherwise, more specifically about the result and implication from this narrative synthesis of this review about digital PBL overall for the nursing, medical, and healthcare discipline over these 10 years. Right. Again, the study also demonstrate that digital PBL overall can achieve better knowledge, skills, attitudes, communications, more particularly exam score, and self-learning, reflective learning, and satisfaction of learning from student. Okay, digital PBL, although it's actually is not something new, although it's probably relatively new compared with conventional PBL, So overall, it appears effective from the preliminary evidence I've seen from this narrative synthesis for delivery of PBL. How about more specifically for digital PBL in nursing? I see similar positive, promising outcome about the digital PBL in nursing, but the thing is, although it's a promising, but only very limited study, that particular targeting nursing discipline with digital PBL. So overall, digital technology is promising for the delivery of PBL. The evidence of its efficacy is not much, but it's suggesting that it seems to be promising, right, as another way of delivering PBL overall for nursing education. There is a paucity, a lack of study about digital PBL in nursing in particular. For the technology that used for digital PBL, then we have to ask, if we do more research about this area, do they engage students more effectively for learning in PBL in particular? Would it actually enhance group processing, right, with all this online technology? In particular, I'm talking about video telephony. We are using this day a lot with the COVID-19 in the past year. Say, for example, Zoom, MS Teams, Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, etc., etc. There's so many different variety of this sort of technology. So I think digital PBL based on technology appearing promising, although the evidence is still lacking. There's still a very need for more study about this area. But in particular, I would suggest that we should particularly look at whether telephony, this particular type of technologies, would be particularly good for digital PBL or for nursing. All right. Otherwise, cultural migration and adaptation with online PBL or digital PBL is another key area to look at, because as I've mentioned before, online PBL can be very much internationalized, and that could be involving different cultures and adaptations of that as well. Otherwise, I would again remind ourselves that the personally significant learning environment is a situation to consider again. Who and how to decide what is the way of learning, and also whether online PBL must be the way to do, or how could we actually balance different people learning style with our particular preference for a PBL, or in this case, even online digital PBL, right? We should consider that elements in our future research, right? So, last word to share with you is, I think the promising evidence demonstrate that we are doing digital PBL already with some success. And our future is actually created by what we do today, not necessarily tomorrow. So perhaps the future is now, but what we need to do is to verify whether what we are doing now, it seems to be creating our future as well, is evidence-based or not. Okay, thank you very much for your listening to my presentation. And because there is no particular Q&A instantly online with you, so feel free to email me if you have further questions. And I'm very happy to meet you, although in a different way, again, with this 40th Hala Newcastle PBL International Symposium. And I hope you find this presentation inspiring, and be in touch with you, and hopefully we see each other in person next year. And these are the references for my presentations today. Thank you again. And goodbye for now.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
Professor
again.
Vico Chiang. And actually, I missed to introduce him about her major and affiliations. He's actually at Hong Kong University in Hong Kong, at the Faculty of Family and Community Health in the School of Nursing. and his research interest about psychosocial support and the mental health of family. He actually interested in the online PBL. There's a very appropriate title for this season. So he is trying to look at how we can use the online PBL technology for the future.